Okay, everyone. We are not ready yet, but we're almost there. So if we can silence our cell phones, close the doors, side doors, back doors, I greatly appreciate it. We are going to be getting started momentarily. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Tuesday, the 26th day of November. This is a regular meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 6 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 6:05 p.m. May we have a roll call for the commencement of this meeting? Councilperson Ridley.
Here.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Soleil.
Here.
Councilperson Solomon. Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeGise.
Here.
Councilperson Rivera will be absent, correct, Council President?
Yes.
Okay, and Council President Waterman. We have 8 council members in attendance at 6:05 p.m. May we kindly rise for a moment of silence, please? Thank you very much. On behalf of Council President Waterman and the members of the Municipal Council, in accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided on the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall, the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of a municipal council for the calendar year 2024, and filed in the office of the city clerk on Thursday, November 30th, 2023. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, November 22nd, 2024 at 5:05 p.m. to the mayor, municipal council, business administrator, corporation council, and the local newspapers, and posted on the city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Okay. Getting right on to our first readings, item 3.1, City Ordinance 24-105 is an ordinance authorizing the City of Jersey City to execute a sublease between Provost Square Performing Arts Company, Inc. and the New Jersey Symphony for the purpose of providing culturally enriching experiences to the Jersey City community through the arts. Item 3.2, City Ordinance 24-106 is an ordinance approving a 30-year tax exemption for Birchwood at Fairmont Hotel, Block 16301, Lot 42, pursuant to the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Act of 1983, as amended and supplemented NJSA 55:14K-1 exec, and the rules promulgated under NJAC 5:80.1 exec. Council members are going to be taking a vote on items 3.1 and 3.2. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Soleil.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye for introduction.
And Council President Waterman. Items 3.1 and 3.2 are introduced 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. On to our second reading ordinances. First, second reading ordinance, item 4.1, City Ordinance 24-100 is an ordinance of the City of Jersey City and the County of Hudson, the State of New Jersey, providing for a special emergency appropriation in the amount of $9 million to fund contractually required severance liabilities resulting from retirement of employees of the city. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-0 -100 was made by Council President Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-100, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary. Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 24-100, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary. Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Just briefly, other than during the COVID year, I've voted no every time we do these. I understand why the city is doing it. However, these should be budgeted in the annual budget. We end up adding costs to our future years by doing this, and we have to pay interest, so we end up paying more. So I vote no.
Okay. Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
City Ordinance 24-100 is adopted 7-1 with Councilperson Solomon voting no and Councilperson Rivera absent. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.2, City Ordinance 24-101 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Parking for the Disabled of the Jersey City Code, designated reserved parking space at various locations throughout the city. It's a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-101 was made by Council President Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-101, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-101 with Councilperson Rivera absent. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 24-101, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
City Ordinance 24-101 is adopted 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. On to our next second reading ordinance. Item 4.3, City Ordinance 24-102 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 7, Metered Parking, Section 332-48.B, Designation of Parking Spaces, and Section 332-58, Parking Regulations in Residential Zones to amend the Zone 4 and metered parking districts along Columbus Drive between Warren and Washington Streets. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-102 was made by Council President Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-102, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-102. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 24-102, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
City Ordinance 24-102 is adopted 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. On to our last second reading ordinance, item 4.4, City Ordinance 24-103 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 8, Permit Parking, amending Section 332-58, Parking Restrictions in Residential Zones to create Parking Zone 9 on Princeton Avenue. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-103 was made by Council President Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. On the motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-103, Councilperson Ridley,
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary,
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano,
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh,
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece,
Aye.
and Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 24-103. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 24-103, Councilperson Ridley,
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary,
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano,
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh,
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece,
Aye.
and Council President Waterman.
Aye.
City Ordinance 24-103 is adopted 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. We are now going on to our public speakers. Please pay close attention to your agenda. I'll be calling the number and the first name of the individual. With that being said, 5.1 Laverne, I do not see her. She's not here. 5.2 Gina.
Good evening, Gina Davison, Ward F. I emailed all of you regarding items 10.17 and 10.18, resolutions 24-853 and 24-854. These are for contracts with Tomahawk Strategic Solutions to provide SWAT-type weaponry to the Jersey City Police Department. This includes bolt-action rifles, sniper equipment, including, quote, death grip infinite tripods, silencers, and night vision goggles, all in excessive quantities. On Monday, Director Shea claimed that this upgraded equipment is now required to maintain a compliant Tier 1 tactical team. So this is not actually required for all municipal police departments. Rather, it is required to maintain the status of our ESU. I would argue that we need traffic enforcement. I would argue that we need a return to community policing. We do not need to continue to support this ESU group. We've seen ESU deployed at peaceful rallies and marches in this city as an intimidation tactic. We've also seen ESU deployed to Andrew Washington's home in August of 2023. And it was Stefan Gigante of ESU who murdered Andrew Washington. If Directors Shea and Kearse were so concerned about requirements and recommendations for police departments, they would be respecting numerous calls from the New Jersey Attorney General to implement the Arrive Together program. Attorney General Directive number 2024-4 determines that tasers and other non-deadly tools should be focused on. At the very least tonight, I'm asking you all to vote down 10.18, which is again 24-854. According to a paper out of the Rutgers Journal of Law and Public Policy, the use of night vision technology greatly increases the risk to our Fourth Amendment rights being violated. This, of course, leads to overturned sentences and large settlement payments. Why should we take this risk? That resolution is not for replacing existing equipment. I want to end by thanking Councilman Baggiano and Councilman Gilmore for your support. I was really impressed, Councilman Baggiano, with your powerful stance to get Directors Shea and Kearse to actually follow through in creating a dialogue with Council about the state of policing in this city. It needs to happen, and it's embarrassing that it hasn't happened yet. That's exactly the type of energy we need. I'm not sure why the city felt the need to disrespect Miss Andes on the record instead of taking some accountability and helping us move forward on this. But long story short, this administration has not done enough to bring Jersey City police leadership together with council or with the people. The state of policing in our city is shameful, does not serve the residents, and does not serve our officers who get up every day to try to protect and serve.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.3, Tina. I don't see Tina. 5.4, Edward. It's not here. Next, 5.5, Karen. Not here. 5.6, Samuel. Samuel is here.
Good to see you, Sam.
Good evening, to City Council. I'm City Council President. My name is Sam Ortiz. If you've seen me before, on behalf of Bergen Lafayette community. The City Council member, I'm encouraging to underscore the critical role of traffic enforcement plays in ensuring of the safety of our community. Effective traffic enforcement measures not only deter reckless driving behaviors, such as speeding, under driving under influence, but also foster culture accountability among all road users. A well-enforced traffic system significantly reduces the likelihood of the accident, thereby safeguarding the life of pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists alike. Additionally, consistent enforcement can enhance public confidence in our city commitment for safety, encourage all reasonable travel choices. I urge you to consider the vital importance of dedicated resources toward traffic enforcement in our ongoing effort to promote public safety. Number two, I also encourage to emphasize the critical importance of infrastructure, safety, and our ongoing effort to monitorize and upgrade the street traffic conditions. As urban population continue to grow, this demand of our transportation system increase correspondingly. Ensuring the infrastructure is not only adequate, but also imperative to preventing accident and promoting the well-being of all road users. A safe and well-maintained infrastructure lays the groundwork of successful implementation of modern traffic solutions such as smart traffic lights and improved public transit system. Investing in our safety measure will ultimately enhance the traffic laws, reduce congestion, and contribute to be more sustainable urban environment. I urge all stakeholders to prioritize infrastructure safety as we move forward addressing the inevitable challenge posed by monetization. Number three, and finally, 30 seconds, crossing guards. I urge an attention pressing concern regarding the safety of our school traffic guards and dignity perform their duties amidst increasing aggressive driving behaviors. We ask, if you truly cared about crossing guards, please protect them. We need more protection to deal with aggressive driving on a daily basis of these traffic, without the
Thank
traffic
you.
enforcement.
Thank you.
hard.
Your time is up.
Got it.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.7, Ashley.
Good evening, council members. I'm
Evening.
Ashley Swiggett, a resident of Ward F, who walks my children to school. I bike to work, and I am a car owner, and I drive in this city. And I'm here speaking tonight to request additional traffic calming measures be added to the south to north avenues between Municipal and Montgomery, specifically on Monticello Avenue. Over the 10 years that I've lived in Ward F, I've seen a tremendous development that has happened in Bergen Lafayette. With the much needed development comes an increase in cars and traffic. With this much needed development, that paired with the decrease in traffic enforcement has led to significant increase in reckless driving behaviors. I often see people driving through red lights, not stopping at stop signs, even in front of the elementary schools while children are being dismissed. There are tire marks of someone doing donuts at the intersection of Monticello and Harrison from Monday night. And there are two ways that we can achieve more orderly traffic patterns: through enforcement, which we've heard a couple of times tonight, as well as infrastructure. Infrastructure is a 24/7 solution that increases pedestrian safety and visibility with daylighting, corner bump outs, raised crosswalks. protected bike lanes, narrow roads to slow drivers while providing cyclists a safe space to bike, which hopefully encourages use of alternate forms of transportation. And that's the infrastructure that Bergen Lafayette deserves. And I want to address a familiar complaint, which is that these solutions have the potential to eliminate parking spaces. There are 3,160 new units under construction and approved to be built in Bergen Lafayette alone, with more proposals that come weekly. The loss of what amounts to be a handful of parking spaces becomes obsolete when there are thousands of new units, which bring new cars, new people parking and driving in our neighborhood. So now is the time to build the infrastructure that we need. And I hope that we prioritize the infrastructure required for traffic calming in Bergen Lafayette to support the growth that is coming to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
You. Our next speaker, 5.8, Tony. Is Tony here? No? Okay, next speaker, 5.9, Sharif. No? Next speaker, 5.10, Danielle.
Good evening, Danielle D'Adamo, Ward C. Council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak yet again before we head into Thanksgiving. I want to start by reaffirming my solidarity with the tenants of Portside Towers and my continued support for the Heights bike lane. Both are vital issues for our community. However, tonight I must once again speak up for the legacy trees of Jersey City, trees that face deadly threats while we continue to delay meaningful protections. I understand that the amendment to Chapter 321 is scheduled to be reintroduced on December 11th. My question is, why the delay? Trees are being cut down every day by property owners who do not care about their value to our environment, health, and community. Every day we wait, more of our canopy is lost, and with it, the legacy of Jersey City's green spaces. I also want to address the reduction in the notification requirement for tree removal, which now applies to both private and street trees. By reducing the notification area from 200 feet to adjoining properties on all sides, with no distinction between developers and private residents, lot size, or tree size, this change severely impacts neighborhood awareness. I understand the legal intent to treat private and street trees similarly, but this change is a perfect example of an unintended consequence. Consider this scenario. A street tree faces a highway on one side. Who then would be notified of its removal under this rule? The adjoining properties? That might mean just one or two people leaving an entire neighborhood in the dark. A tree like that could disappear before the broader community even knows it's under threat. This lack of transparency is a huge blow to the collective awareness needed to preserve our tree canopy. By weakening notification requirements, we are not streamlining the process. We are silencing the voices of those who care most about these trees. I urge the council to take this into account as we move toward reintroducing the amendment. Our trees are irreplaceable and the protection cannot wait. I ask for a commitment to stronger notifications and immediate action to safeguard the legacy trees that make Jersey City a livable, sustainable home for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.11, Philip. I don't see Philip. Next, 5.12, Kevin. Not here. 5.13, Renetta. Not here. 5.14, Jessica. Not here. 5.15, Mark.
Good evening, City Council. While it's always nice to see you, I'd love to get these evenings back. But until action's taken, I got no alternative but to be here. I'm still on the theme that I began almost 12 months ago, the security of Portside Towers. On June 26, 5 months ago today, Ordinance 24-055 was approved by this council and was signed by the mayor the next day. This ordinance amended and clarified Municipal Code 218-1 uniform security service for multiple dwellings. What's happened since then? Well, 3 months ago, I heard from the city's legal department that the Office of Code Compliance is the department responsible for enforcement of 218-1, which incorporates the Uniform Security Service mandate. We've had a few incidents in the last month. Just last Friday, there was an incident in our lobby involving 2 non-residents. Multiple police, in fact 8, were called to the scene. Where was our mandated uniform security? Nowhere. Portside's been in violation of municipal code since August the 15th, 2015, when their exemption expired. Another disturbing incident was a death threat on November the 5th from the occupant of a car at the very south end of Washington Street to one of our tenants. The police were called and took a report of this incident. Many of us have witnessed what sure looked like drug deals going on down at the southern end of Washington Street by the Korean War Memorial, but threatening to kill one of our tenants is new to me. Washington Street is supposed to be chained and locked at 8 p.m. by Portside Security. That's Ordinance 07-153, Section 7E. But we don't have the mandated uniform security to do this, and thus the street is not chained as required. Portside's been in violation since August the 15th, 2015. That's approximately 10,000 violations. Assuming $2,000 a day, that's $20 million for the city's coffers. We need Joe Barrow, Director of Code Compliance, to step up and enforce Code 218-1 because Portside does not have the 2 mandated uniform security guards, does not lock the south end of Washington Street from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. as is required, and has no current exemption from the security service rules in 218-1. Please help us get the Director of Code Compliance to step up. Then I can stop talking about this at council meeting after council meeting, and we'll all have a little peace. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.16, Shannon. Not here, thank you. Next speaker, 5.17, Tanu. Thank you. Next speaker, 5.18, Erin. Not here, thank you. Next speaker, 5.19, Daniel. Thank you. 5.20, Alexandra. Thank you. Next speaker, 5.21, Jessica.
Man. Phew. I ran from Portside. Got off work late. Okay. Tonight, this council and the Jersey City Corporation Council are being provided with an initial log of 2,730 violations of Jersey City's Uniform Security Ordinance at Portside Towers in the Korean War Memorial. You know what? I'm going to take 5 seconds and breathe. Spanning just the past 17 months, this 130-page log represents 3 violations per day, 1 for each building and 1 for the memorial. These documented incidents only scratch the surface, as we're still validating how far back these violations extend. Tonight's potential violation related to the Korean War Memorial, which would trigger at 8 p.m., isn't even included in this log, though given there was no uniform security present in either building as we left for this meeting, it's likely the violation count will increase by 1 more before tomorrow. Last time we stood here, Michelle Hirsch warned it wasn't a matter of if, but when another emergency would occur. Days ago, that prediction proved tragically accurate when a badly injured woman sought refuge in our building. She staggered in and left bloodstains on our walls and floors as she fled her attacker, who then entered our lobby through the unlocked front door. I was there. Our night concierge did their best, trying to protect her in the back office, but there was no uniform security present as required by law. I remained in the lobby until at least 8 police officers arrived. During this time, residents walked past blood on the floor, and at points, there was no staff in the lobby at all, even as the attacker, who was covered in the blood of the woman he assaulted, moved freely throughout our lobby. The Equity residential employees handled an impossible situation as best they could. They were amazing, but they should never have been put in that position. The law requires uniform security precisely to prevent such dangerous scenarios. Madam President, you've taken action from this dais before when presented with clear evidence of violations that threaten public safety. These security violations are not subject to any ongoing litigation. They are a violation. The clear log of long-term ongoing violations is now in your hands. Both our residents and Equity Zone employees were put at risk. I respectfully ask you to direct the legal and business administration teams to address these life-threatening ordinance violations immediately. We don't need to wait for someone to die before there's action on violations that are thoroughly documented. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.22, Christopher. Is Christopher here? No. Next speaker, 5.23, Danilo. I'm here. Next speaker, 5.24, Sonia. Next speaker, 5.25, Drew. Not here. 5.26, Suzanne. Not here. 5.27, Douglas.
At the last city council meeting, I heard speaker after speaker ask for help, not about rent control or the related litigation, but about very basic city ordinances concerning resident safety. The help they wanted? They were begging for you and the city to simply enforce existing ordinances requiring 24-hour uniform security in both buildings at Portside Towers and affecting the Korean War Memorial, and requiring a resident superintendent in each building. A few of you listened attentively, but no action seems to have been taken to cause Equity Residential to obey the ordinances. Let's talk about security. While visiting my daughter and son-in-law, I sometimes walk their dog late in the evening. I've observed suspicious activity going on in the Korean War Memorial parking area, the same parking area that should be secured by Portside Towers security after 8 p.m. and chained off. Of course, it is not secured because the required uniform security at Portside Towers simply doesn't exist. In my experience, what I was seeing as suspicious activity is all the hallmarks of drug dealing and prostitution. Just last week, I was also present in the public lobby of Portside East late in the evening when an injured and bloody woman was brought into the building. Her attacker was close behind. The night concierge was forced to make the impossible choice of remaining at his post at the front desk or taking the injured woman to safety in the back office. The choice made was to help the injured woman. I watched as residents walked past the blood on the lobby floor, completely unaware of the danger posed by the attacker. The attacker only left once he was aware that law enforcement had been called. Day after day and night after night, the Portside Towers buildings remain unprotected, even though city ordinances require Equity Residential to staff the uniform security positions. At 77, I have lived long enough to know that sometimes tragedy can only be understood in hindsight. This time, you all have both the responsibility and the ability to do something before that tragedy happens.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.28, Tara. Our next speaker, 5.29, Brendan. And our next speaker, 5.30, Michelle.
Yesterday, Equity Residential announced that they've received NAREIT's 2024 Leader in the Light Award for, and I quote, sustainable and socially responsible investment and operating practices, good governance, and transparency. Let that sink in for a minute. An award for transparency to a company that for decades has failed to provide legally required landlord identity information. An award for good governance to a company that ignores a unanimous rent leveling board determination. An award for social responsibility to a company that left a bleeding woman vulnerable in their lobby last week because they refused to provide required uniform security. That photograph you have in front of you, that blood is from somebody's daughter, sister, mother, aunt. It could have been your child, your sister or mother. We have no uniform security. Kyle Hendricks, their Vice President of Sustainability, proudly announced they're focused on integrating sustainability principles into their business strategy. Well, Mr. Hendricks, I invite you to visit Portside, where your company's idea of sustainability means sustaining a pattern of ordinance violations that puts lives at risk. You claim to create communities where people thrive, but how exactly do people thrive without required resident superintendents, without mandated 24/7 uniform security, without basic compliance with local safety ordinances, and without adherence to rent control laws? This award celebrates Equity's environmental friendliness, but what about their human friendliness? What about the blood that stained our lobby floor last week? What about the August 7th fire, where we had no superintendent to coordinate with first responders? Their press release boasts about attracting affluent long-term renters. Perhaps that explains their contempt for rent control. It doesn't fit their business model of limitless profit at the expense of human safety and dignity. I ask this council to take 3 specific actions. 1, pass a resolution condemning Equity Residential's ongoing violations of Jersey City ordinances. 2A, forward documentation of their violations to NAREIT's Board of Directors. And 2B, request the immediate revocation of this award based on Equity's demonstrated pattern of disregarding local laws and engendering their residents. NAREIT claims their award recognizes superior and sustained practices. Well, at Portside, we certainly experienced Equity's sustained practices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.31, Pavel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pavel. I learned about this meeting from the Bike JC advocacy group. So they sent an email saying that there's a bike lane in the Heights that may or may not be constructed, depending on where the funds are directed. So I came to say a few words in support of bike lanes. I have lived in Jersey City for 8.5 years. I live in the Bergen-Lafayette area, close to the Berry Lane Park. I ride a bike. So I am a software engineer. I work in Manhattan, so sometimes I bike to work. I leave the bike at the Grove Street station. I also have a son who's 6 years old, turning 7 soon. He learned biking this year, so sometimes I bike with him to his school, which is PS number 3 on Grand Street. To me, it really makes a difference whether a street has a bike lane or not, because I feel safer. My son certainly feels safer when there is a bike lane. And it's just better for everyone if we're on a bike lane, not on the sidewalk or sharing the lane with the cars. So also I had an accident last year. I was taking my son to his school. He was in front of me in the attached seat, and we were weaving our way through the cars on Bright Street, which doesn't have a bike lane, and someone sitting in their car opened the door and hit me on the knee. I sustained a torn meniscus. Luckily, I can walk without limping. But I mean, I should feel lucky that, I can walk and that I'm alive, because you've seen all those white bikes around Jersey City. So people definitely die in accidents. And so overall, I understand that there is a tension between car drivers and cyclists. I'm a car driver myself, but I do believe that having bike lanes leads to a better future for everybody, including car drivers and pedestrians. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.32, Ryan. Is Ryan here? No. Next speaker, 5.33, Erica.
Good evening, City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Tonight, again, I urge you to reevaluate how public safety funds are being utilized, particularly the ineffective and wasteful standing posts along Ocean Avenue and Martin Luther King Drive. These posts have not deterred crime. In fact, just last night, there was a shooting on Oak and MLK. Residents have lost faith in this approach, especially when officers stationed at these posts are often seen on their phones, smoking cigars, or even sleeping in their cars. This is not the proactive policing our community deserves. It's shameful. Standing posts fail to address the root causes of crime or to provide dynamic coverage, like on the side streets. We need a shift toward mobile patrols where officers can actively monitor and respond to incidents in real time, as right now they are not allowed to move when they see crime happening 100 feet away. They have to call it in and wait for somebody else to come. This strategy would better utilize resources and restore trust in public safety efforts, mobile units, that is. I also urge the council to involve the community in these decisions through transparent, accessible forums. Finally, with my remaining time, I'd like to honor Andrew Washington with a moment of silence, as tomorrow he would have celebrated his birthday. Thank you, and justice for Drew.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.34, Rochelle.
Sorry, I had a minute and a half left and I wanted to give it to Andrew.
Okay.
Thank you.
I didn't realize that. I apologize for that. 5.34, Rochelle.
Good evening, council members. My name is Rochelle Hoffman. I am the co-founder and director of We Care Movement. We are a community faith-based organization here in the city of Jersey City. I want to say thank you to Councilwoman Mira Prince. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on an issue that touches the health and safety of our community, the need to revise the alcohol warning signage. Alcohol consumption is deeply woven into our social fabric, but we cannot ignore its significant health risk and societal impacts. While most people are aware of the general risk of excessive alcohol use, current warning signs often fail to communicate the severity and health of these dangers effectively. It is time we acknowledge this gap and take action. Why the current warning signage falls short. The alcohol warning labels and signs we see today are often outdated, generalized, and frankly easy to overlook. Their small fonts, technical language, and lack of visual impact fail to grab attention or resonate emotionally. Compare this to the stark and effective warnings we now see on tobacco products, clear graphics, and memorable alcohol warnings. In contrast, do not adequately inform consumers about health risk. Excessive alcohol use is linked to liver disease, heart problems, mental health disorders, and even cancer. Yet few signs emphasize these risks in a clear, direct manner. Social impact. Alcohol contributes to impaired driving, domestic violence, and other social harms. These warnings should be front and center, not buried in fine print. Targeted audience. Certain groups, such as pregnant individuals and underage consumers, require specific warnings. Yet, current signage often fails to address them clearly and prominently. Why the revision is urgent. Every year, millions of people are affected by alcohol-related harm. Clear and impactful warning signs can serve as a simple yet effective tool to educate the public, reduce harmful consumption, and potentially save lives. Studies show that visual, emotionally resonant messages such as pictures or bold statements are far more effective in influencing behavior than plain text. I'm going to try to get this out. What revised signage should look like. Clear visual, incorporate graphics or images that vividly illustrate the consequences of excessive alcohol use, such as damaged organs or car accidents caused by drunk driving. Specific warnings. Use concise, relatable messages like alcohol use increase the risk of cancer or drinking while pregnant harms your baby. Prominent placement. Ensure the warning signs are easily visible in stores, bars, and other points of sale, not tucked away in a corner. Conclusion, updating alcohol warning signage is not about limited personal freedom. It's about equipping individuals with the information they need to make informed challenge choices. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.35, Jake. Not here. Our next speaker and last speaker, 5.36, Gopanand.
Good evening, council members and public. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm not a person who comes up here and talks, but something happened to me within the last 24 hours, and I wanted to share in the context of safety, public safety, and traffic safety that we are discussing in Jersey City. Yesterday, around 7:15 p.m., I had a terrifying experience on Central Avenue near Boreum Ave. While I was crossing the street in the crosswalk, a speeding Kia Sorento SUV came dangerously close to hitting me. The driver didn't slow down, and I barely managed to step out of the way in time. Out of pure shock and fear, I reflexively hit the door of the car to make them aware how close and life-threatening their behavior was. What happened next was even more traumatic. 2 adult males got out of the vehicle and assaulted me repeatedly, and I have a small bruise here from I was able to get away, but he did hit me 2 times in the face, and there is a bruise on my face. The police and the ambulance were called. A report has been filed. I'm also very shaken to the core as I'm standing here. And this is a mere 1 block away from the protected bike lane that is being proposed. So my basic point is that in Jersey City, speeding cars are not being ticketed. Speed check, like there used to be a time if you hold a phone in your hand when you're driving, you would get ticket. And now that's not the case. You can, stop signs are a mere suggestion, right? Red lights are a target practice. If you see a red light is going to happen like 50 feet, 100 feet from you, you are rushing to beat it. You see it all over Jersey City. Crosswalks are simply ignored. They are just not there. So my specific request is, this is the Central Avenue is very wide and prone to speeding near Pershing Field. I request for traffic engineers to check and implement speed reduction measures. Whatever they like, let them come up with whatever the solution is, but speed needs to reduce. This is an important bus corridor. Lots of kids go to the Pershing Field, so there is a lot of foot traffic back and forth. The newly opened reservoir is right there, so people go to kind of get there too. So I like, and it cannot be more apt that it is very close to the bike lane that is.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say something, if you can. Gopanand, I'm sorry for what happened to you. I know that's Ward C, but I just, I want to let you know that the driver did get a speeding ticket from, I called the police earlier today and they did give him a speeding ticket. And they also advised me to advise you that if you want to file a complaint for simple assault, that you would go to the courthouse at 365 Summit Avenue, which is the municipal courthouse, and you'd be able to file a simple assault complaint against the driver. And I'm really sorry for what happened to you, and we should work towards making that area safer. And thank you for coming and speaking.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that, and have a good night.
Okay. That includes our public, that includes our public speaking portion of the meeting.
Took a little to get up here, to be honest.
Any questions or comments on petitions and communications items 6.1 through 6.36? Hearing none. Any questions or comments on office communications 7.1 through 7.4? Any questions or comments on report of directors 8.1 through 8.2? And on to our claims and addendum number 1. Council members are going to be taking a vote on claims and addendum number 1. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon. Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise. And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Claims and addendum number 1 are approved 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. On to our resolutions. Council members are going to be taking a vote on items 10.1 through 10.11. That's 10.1 through 10.11. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Briefly, I just want to thank Rochelle and the We Care movement for bringing the attention of updating signs to educate our residents so they know exactly what the latest science is when it relates to signs about drinking alcohol. I wish you all the best as you move your advocacy from the local level to the state level, and best of luck. We're here for you. I vote aye for all.
Thank you, Councilperson Baggiano.
Oh, aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon. Can't hear you.
No on 10.1, I and the rest.
Thank you. Councilperson Gilmore. Can't hear you.
No on 10.4, aye on the rest.
10.4. And I on the rest. Got it. Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman. Okay, if I can just recap. Item 10.1 is approved 7-1, with Councilperson Solomon voting no and Councilperson Rivera absent. Item 10.2 and 3 are approved 8-0, with Councilperson Rivera absent. Item 10.4 is approved 7-1, with Councilperson Gilmore voting no and Councilperson Rivera absent. And items 10.5 through 10.11 are approved 8-0, with Councilperson Rivera absent. Now the BA wants to address the council, so I'm just going to get the camera on you. Take it away.
Yeah, Sean, I just want to confirm, as we move to the next set, 10.15 will be withdrawing. I did speak with Deja, and she's going to provide the council with additional information on that mortgage discharge.
Thank you. Okay, council members, with that being said, I'm going to be taking a vote on items 10.12 through 10.21, with the exception of 10.15, which has been withdrawn. Councilperson Ridley.
Sean, we're going where to 21?
I'm sorry, we're going to 10.21.
Question for the BA, because I'm a little unclear of where we landed. I know we've been having a lot of discussions around public safety and Councilman Borgiano, Councilman Rivera asking for some meetings. We said we would have an outside meeting. Are we going to set up a meeting with public safety? Because I think everybody has a lot of questions. I know a lot of officers in ESU, and we know we put them in our most dangerous situations. So I am going to vote aye for all on this tonight. But there are a number of questions, from posts that were brought up to our tactical concerns to parking authority. So are we going to have that sit down?
Sure. I initially had a conversation with Councilman Borgiano on his particular concerns, but if the council would like to meet with public safety as a whole, we just have to do that through Sean on the public Act, Sunshine Meetings, excuse me. Yeah, Public Meetings Act. So this is the administration directing Sean to schedule a meeting with the council in whole, maybe preferably closed session before the next council meeting.
Can we?
If we do that, we would need a resolution.
Oh, we need a resolution.
Wait, the next meeting.
Okay, yeah, so, okay, that works.
Aye, Sean.
In the I'm sorry.
All right.
In the meantime, if the council would like to gather all their questions together this way, there's information available when they do meet.
Okay, council members. So I'm sorry, Councilperson Ridley, your vote aye for all. Thank you, with the exception of 10.15, which has been withdrawn. Councilperson Prinzary.
Just to get it on the record, I also requesting this meeting. I know that there have been multiple meeting requests from myself, but also other council members. So it is time we just address these issues once and for all. We have received email as it relates to different public safety concerns and also different traffic concerns. And I do agree that there is an enormous issue with traffic enforcement across the entire city. We've had it on Kennedy Boulevard a number of years ago. There were a couple of crashes. We worked with our police and the sheriff's department, and for almost a year, there were no crashes. So enforcement, while it's not always the answer, it certainly makes sure that people are on better behavior and that they're not getting away with things because they know that they can. And for aye for all for the resolutions.
Thank you, Councilperson Borgiano.
John, as you know, I'm having a meeting with Shay. I've been with the police department for 36 years, and I'm tired of a lot of the stuff going on. And I want to present issues and facts, and I hope the other council people back me, and when they meet with him, share the same views as I have. As far as these issues with the police here, we need updated equipment. You never know what's going to happen in today's world. That's why I'll vote for them. So I vote aye for everything.
Councilperson Saleh.
I'm going to vote aye for all. However, the issues that were raised today are significant and persistent, and I agree that they need to be addressed by public safety. We need to find a way to bring the Arrive Together program. And I do want a motion after we're done voting for a closed session for the December meeting at 5 p.m. So just putting it on the record.
Councilperson Solomon.
I concur with what my colleagues have said, and I vote aye for all.
Councilperson Gilmore.
I'm going to abstain on 17 and 18. I think, oh my God, I think as a council, we really have to consider making sure that every director is approved for reappointment every term, irregardless if they were part of the last term. Because this puts,
Wasn't approved the last go round.
it wasn't approved the last go around either?
No, they wasn't. We didn't approve them.
Only the first four? Only the first 4 years though? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if we need to look at that legislation and make sure that I would even make the argument every 2 years, because it's like a performance review. So that way we make sure that we're holding them accountable, because the residents are gonna hold us accountable every day. So in light of all that, I'll abstain on 17 and 18. I'll vote aye on the rest.
Thank you, Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
And Council President Waterman.
Sean, let me get understanding with this closed session because our next meeting is the 11th of December, correct?
That's
We would
correct.
have to vote on it on that day to have a closed session,
No, we would have to vote on it tonight
Right.
in order to have a closed session on December 11th.
but we don't have a resolution. So how can we do that to make sure we have a closed session? Or if not, then each council person meet 3 at a time because we got to get this done. And
Yeah, the only
next
reason
month
I
is our
mentioned-
last meeting.
Yeah, Council President, the only reason I mentioned a closed session is because sometimes there's hypersensitive information that if you want answers to and they can't say it publicly.
Publicly, right.
So what we would do is motion to add a late item by one of the council members, seconded. That late item would be a
Closed session.
resolution for December
11th.
11th at 5
at
p.m.
5 p.m.
Okay.
So we'll do that right after we're done with the formal.
I vote aye. So we'll do that, Sean.
Okay. I won't forget, I promise. All right, so items 10.12 through 10.14 are approved 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. 10.15 has been withdrawn. 10.16 is approved 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. 10.17 is approved 7-0-1 with Councilperson Gilmore abstaining and Councilperson Rivera absent. And 10.18, same vote, 7-0-1 with Councilperson Gilmore abstaining and Councilperson Rivera absent. And items 10.19 through 21 are approved 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. Before we go to the balance,
Motion to amend the agenda to add late item 1033, closed session with public safety at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 5 p.m., December 11th, 2024.
so I have a motion to add, give me a second before we second it. Motion to add resolution.
Yep.
It would be resolution
1033.
24869, item number 1033, which will be a closed session to be held on December 11th.
Yes.
At 5 p.m. in the caucus room, room 127, I believe it is. And we'll have the motion was made by Councilperson Saleh. We'll have the resolution prepared for tomorrow. So when I republish the agenda, it'll show all the details on the resolution that we're about to add for the closed session. So I have a motion made by Councilperson Saleh. May I have a second? Second by Councilperson DeGise, I believe. On the motion to add resolution 24-869, item 10.33, closed session to the agenda, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson
Aye.
Gilmore. Councilperson DeGise. And Council President Waterman. And this closed session is going to include and just be specific to a meeting with the director of the public safety. Is that correct? Okay. All righty. So with that being said, I'm going to take a vote on the balance of our resolutions, which is going to be items 10.22 through 10.33 with the addition of the closed session resolution. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeJeece. And Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Items 10.22 through 10.33 are approved 8-0 with Councilperson Rivera absent. And may I ask the magic question, a motion to adjourn at 7:10 PM?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Saleh, seconded, I believe that was by Councilperson Prinzary. On the motion to adjourn at 7:10 PM, all council members present by acclamation, please say aye. We are out of here at 7:10 PM. Thank you so much, everyone present and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have a happy Thanksgiving to all. Have a great night. Stay safe.
Anyone who is new.